If you are thinking about getting into finance roles after your MBA or other certifications, then this video is going to be very important because I'm going to rate the most popular finance roles across 4 different parameters. And based on which parameter you value more in life, you can choose your career accordingly. Remember, one role, one career might not be suitable for everyone. It all depends on what expectation you have from a certain career, and that is exactly where this video is going to guide you. The 4 parameters include first your earning potential, that is how much you can potentially earn from a specific role and a specific career in the long run. Next is your ease of entry, that is how easy it is to get into that specific role. Some roles will require you a tier 1 MBA, CA, CFA certification, whereas some would be easy to get in. So based on how easy it is to get into a specific career, I will rate it accordingly. Third is the work-life balance, that is how much you have to work every day, every week in that career. And finally, the fourth one is the exit options, that is how easy it will be for you to switch to different companies and do different types of roles after that specific career. Now, it is also an indicator of your learning curve, because the more learning that you do in a specific role, the more easy it will be for you to switch to different types of roles, and hence more will be the options open for you. And we'll start with the most popular role, investment banking. Investment bankers also are different kinds of investment bankers. There are front-end investment bankers, then there are back-end investment bankers. Front-end investment banking as well, if you see, there is this bulge bracket, the JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley type of companies who extensively hire from the topmost schools, topmost graduates they hire. Then there are domestic banks as well, like Axis Bank, Kotak Bank, who are also very decent investment bankers, but obviously the kind of 1 crore, 2 crore salary that you see, that comes from the bulge brackets, and we will talk about the front end bulge brackets. So talking about earning potential, I would rate it 9 out of 10, because if you see, once you join in investment banking, front end investment banking bulge bracket firm, your typical entry salary from Ahmedabad, Bangalore is around 70-80 lakhs starting, along with the bonus obviously, and very soon it crosses 1 crore as well. So you have tremendous earning potential depending on the bonus in that particular year. And if you are joining a domestic bank, then obviously the earning potential will be slightly less compared to a bulge bracket. After that, ease of entry, very difficult to get in. It's probably, I would rate it 3 out of 10, because you first need to get into a tier 1 MBA college for front end bulge bracket investment banking, and that too you have to be amongst the top of your batch. And along with that, if you have CA, CFA certification, most of those kids go into these investment banking roles. So definitely very difficult to get into such roles. I would rate it 3 out of 10. If you want to get into domestic banks, it increases considerably. The ease of entry increases considerably for a domestic bank like Kotak Bank or Axis Bank. I would rate it somewhere around 7 out of 10 for a domestic bank. Next comes work-life balance. It's pretty bad in investment banking. Rate it 3 out of 10, because it's almost like 13-14 hours every day is pretty normal, and that can extend over the weekends as well. It's like one of the most hectic jobs out there after your MBA program. So 3 out of 10 there. And for exit options, I would rate it somewhere around 7 out of 10. So the idea behind this is that 7 out of 10 is you can switch. Definitely there are a lot of roles that will be open for you, but the problem is you don't get the same kind of salary in different roles, and that's why a lot of people don't switch to other companies or other types of role. And the only option that remains for you is either switch to private equity or to some consulting firm, take in the same kind of a salary, or maybe you can switch to different kind of investment banking firms. But that is also pretty limited if you see the bulge bracket specifically. So that's very limited. So exit options, not very much, but yes, it depends on you. If you want to take a salary cut and switch to other kinds of role, it will definitely be open for you. That's why 7 out of 10. Next role is private equity. And what you do in private equity, they basically invest in very large scale companies. They basically pool money from the investors, invest in very big companies. So it's not like they invest in startups, but the companies that are already really big, and they invest huge amounts in those companies to take over like majority stake almost. So that is the work that private equity players do. Yes, they can generate great amount of returns, and that's why the earning potential is very huge. I would rate it 10 out of 10, even more than investment banking, I would say, because it all depends on the kind of deal that you can turn around. If you can turn around very big deals, it can be massive. And I think that most of the people from investment banking or say consulting, ultimately they switch to private equity. They seek to switch to private equity because that's the only kind of career that can offer more money. So you can switch to private equity, but again, getting into this private equity is very difficult. I would rate it probably 2 out of 10 for private equity ease of entry, because of the simple fact that even if you're from a top MBA college like IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, maybe if you're amongst those 1-2 special people, you can be hired directly, but even from there, getting hired is very difficult. typically people go into investment banking, join consulting, they work there for say 3 years, 4 years, and after that they switch to private equity. That's the typical journey I've seen. And yes, there are certain hires, 3 4 people from every batch that get into private equity directly from campus, but it's very very difficult to get in. And work life balance, I would rate it somewhere along say 4 out of 10, because it's equally bad like investment banking, but maybe slightly better. I would say if investment banking is 14 hours, so private equity can be 13 hours, but not less than that. And after that, your exit options, again very similar to investment banking, 7 out of 10, but not a lot of people switch because the kind of money that they are getting there. So yes, you can switch to other kind of finance roles from private equity as well, but the kind of money that you will get in other roles will not be sufficient to ask for that switch. And before I go to the next role, let me tell you, अगर आप MBA करना चाहते हो to get into finance roles or other roles as well, especially अगर आप एक working professional हो and you are looking for options like an online MBA, then there's a free platform that will be very useful for you. So let me tell you about the partners of this video, and that is College Vidya. It's a free platform where only the UGC approved online universities are listed for you to search and compare. Here you get UG, PG, Executive MBA, Doctorate and Job Guarantee programs and a lot of other things too. आप 100 plus online universities compare कर सकते हो across 30 plus factors like fees, placements, rankings, course content, EMI options, all in 2 minutes for absolutely free. You can also avail free expert career counseling for selecting the best program according to your profile. And post admission, you get placement support worth rupees 5,999 for absolutely free. Job and internship portal access, alumni connect, and free webinars are also there. You can also get the College Vidya Assured feature where the counselors can help you get refund from the university in case you are not satisfied. So there is complete protection too. So currently you are also getting a subsidy of up to rupees 20,000. You can avail it from the link in the description. And now going to the next role, and that is venture capital or the VC roles. Like the private equity ones, they invest in large companies. The VCs invest in startups. And again, the same thing, logic applies that you pool money from the investors, you invest in startups, and as they get return, you also earn money out of it. Initial part of the career, your work will be talking to these startups, sourcing these startups for investing, and doing the due diligence, analyzing their pitch decks and everything. And as you go up, you will also start investing your own money in these startups. Again, the earning potential is really high. I would rate it around 8 out of 10, maybe a little bit less compared to investment banking and private equity, but again, there is no limit. In case you have applied or pooled your money for the right startup and it does really well, there you can get a lot of bonus. So it all depends on how your startup performs, where you are investing your money and everything. But again, very very high earning role. Initial salary that you start with is around 45 lakh, 45 lakh from IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta type of colleges. So that's the initial salary you can expect. And upper limit, there's no upper limit. It basically depends on the type of deals that you do. Apart from that, if you go to the ease of entry, I would rate it 7 out of 10 because it is comparatively easier compared to entering compared to your investment banking or private equity. The reason being that those roles you need very typical finance knowledge, very very hardcore finance knowledge. But for venture capital, you can enter this field through various ways. One can definitely be an MBA program, other can also be you have worked in a startup and then you shift to VC. They are looking for folks who are coming from that startup environment. It's not that you should have started your own startup, but even if you have worked in a startup that was doing the fundraising and everything, then also you can get into these roles. Even from consulting, people shift to VC. So there are a lot of different ways that one can enter into this VC field. You don't necessarily require that tier 1 MBA background. There are many other colleges, they hire from different colleges as well. And if you have the right skills and if you can get that right connect to get introduced to a particular VC, they will get you in the firm. So there are different ways of doing it through networking as well. You can get into VC roles. So 7 out of 10. After that, for work-life balance, I would rate it 6 out of 10. Again, you're earning slightly less compared to say investment bankers, but the life is also slightly better too. But it depends on the firm as well in which you are and the type of cycle that you're going through. But 6 out of 10 I would generally rate it. 12-13 hours every day. Sometimes it can extend over the weekend, but usually not. So those kind of things you can expect here. After that, the exit options, I would rate it again somewhere around 7 out of 10 only. The reason being that you can definitely switch to different VC firms, but that is also very difficult because they are very limited VC firms and it's a very small circle where everyone knows each other. So if you're not doing well in one VC firm, it's really very difficult for you to switch to other VC firm because everyone knows what kind of performer you are. Yes, you can switch to to other companies as well. Like a lot of startups would be willing to take you in because of your connects and the kind of skills that you have, especially in analyzing pitch decks and everything, how to raise money. You have those skills, so a lot of startups would be ready to hire you. You can go back to consulting and stuff as well through VC. So there are some exit options, but switching across different VC companies, yes, that will be challenging because it's a very close knit circle, and it will be difficult to switch from one VC firm to other. In case you think that you have been fired from one, you will easily get another role. It will not be very easy. Next is corporate finance. And corporate finance, you can think about that you are responsible for financial health of a particular company. Suppose you have joined Reliance, you are in the corporate finance team, so you are responsible for the entire financial health of the company. That is managing all of their financial statements, ensuring that the budgeting and everything is done really well. Who will get what kind of budget, that also kind of can come under the corporate finance team only. So entire financial health of a particular company, the corporate finance team will look after. Earning potential wise, I would put it at 6 out of 10. Definitely lower than the other finance roles. Typical starting salary from top tier colleges would be 25 to 30 lakh that corporate finance people start in. So not the most high paying role in under finance, but definitely it also comes with ease of entry too. So in case you are from a decent college, decent MBA college, say even a tier 2 MBA college, then also you can get into these corporate finance roles. I would rate it as 8 out of 10. It's a little bit easier to get into. You don't need that top tier degree or top tier CA, CFA kind of certification to get an interview for these roles. And if you have a little bit of finance knowledge, whatever you have studied in your MBA program or anything, you can get into this. Even if you have just a CA or a CFA degree, then also you can get into corporate finance roles. Work life wise, it is, I believe, one of the best finance roles because every planning that you do is so long term, 6 months, 1 year plan that you do. So there's never an urgency in these kind of roles, or mostly there is not. So I would rate it 9 out of 10. Most of my friends who are in corporate finance roles, they are pretty happy staying in the same company because the kind of life that they have, they are earning decent money, and the kind of lives that they have is pretty chilled out. It's very difficult for them now to shift to an environment which is very hectic. So I would say work life balance is definitely a 9 on 10. After that, obviously it comes at an expense as well. The exit option, I would say it is 5 out of 10 because you become very important for your specific company. However, you do not have many cross functional skills. Obviously, the finance is a cross functional skill, but again, you have been with a company, you become important for that company and that industry. Outside that industry and outside that company, probably your skills, you need to prove a lot more to different companies to get interviewed as well. So that's why I would rate it as 5 out of 10. But yes, in case suppose you have worked in the fintech sector, or if you have worked say in the retail sector, you become very important for that particular industry. Any retail company would be willing to take you. Any fintech company, if you have worked there, will be willing to take you because you know how the financial statements and everything for that specific industry works. Next is the markets role, and here your primary job is to be into the trading desk, or it can be sales desk as well, but it's more like you know about the entire macroeconomic markets, that is bond market, currency market, stock market. You are basically trading in these markets, and this is also a great role to have. I would rate it as 8 out of 10 in terms of earning potential. Starting salary usually when they used to come to top colleges used to be like 35 lakh, and in case you are into algorithmic trading or those kind of trading, and most of those roles happen outside places like Singapore, Amsterdam, and those kind of places, salary goes into crores for them. So definitely there's a lot of earning potential here. Again, it depends a lot on the kind of trades that you are able to manage, the kind of good bets that you do. A lot of bonus as well gets involved here. So 8 out of 10 in terms of earning potential. However, if I talk about the ease of entry, I would rate it somewhere around 6 out of 10. It's slightly easier to enter in the way that you don't need specific certifications in finance for this, but you definitely have to be really good at quants. The reason being, they are the kind of work that they have to be very good with numbers. So they rather prefer people who have very good quant knowledge, very good with data, rather than just only financial knowledge. That's why a lot of engineers after doing an MBA get into these markets roles. They don't need specific finance knowledge. So that's why I would rate it as 6 out of 10 in terms of ease of entry. So work-life balance, in terms of number of hours, probably markets is not that big a problem. I mean, you can just get over with 10-12 hours of work as well. 10-12 hours typically, yeah, you close. However, the problem here is that during that trading hour, that maybe if suppose you are investing in stock market in India, that 9:15 to 3:30, it is so hectic, everything is moving so fast, you literally cannot get up from your desk. And that's why I would say this falls at 6 out of 10 in terms of work life balance. It's very hectic work, there's a lot of money involved in those every transaction, so you have to be very careful about it. There's a lot of stress in this role, that's why 6 out of 10. In terms of working hours, it will probably around 10 hours, 10 to 12 hours max. In terms of exit options, probably not the best, because you are learning a very specific skill set, so you are very important in terms of trading and everything. Yes, you can switch across different companies for your specific role, but the kind of skill that you have developed over the years, that is not very transferable in other kind of roles. You are also kind of an individual contributor for a very long time in this role. That's why the soft skills and those aspects don't develop really well. So 5 out of 10 in terms of exit options. Next role is financial analyst, and here it's more of a data analyst role rather than a finance role, I would say. So if you're good with data, if you're good with Excel, if you're good with number crunching and everything, you can get into these roles. It's not exactly, yes, you need financial knowledge too, financial modeling and everything, that is your primary job. You would be doing financial modeling on the data, but you can learn it very quick on the job as well. It is possible, and if you have a little bit of finance knowledge, say a CFA level 1 degree as well, then also you can be joining as a financial analyst. And earning potential, I would say, is around 5 out of 10. Mostly people from top tier MBA colleges don't get into financial analyst roles. However, if you have done say CFA level 1, then you can get a financial analyst kind of a role. Salary can be in the range of say 8 to 12 lakh, and in case you are doing really well in that role and you have pursued maybe say other kind of certifications as well, and MBA from tier 2 college, so it can go up to 15-16 lakh as well. So 5 out of 10 in terms of earning potential. But definitely it also comes with the ease of entering into this kind of role. So if you are not able to figure out which finance role you can start with, financial analyst can be the one, because it's easier to enter. So 9 out of 10 in terms of ease of entry. Even if you're from a tier 2 college, have just basic financial skills and very good with data analytics, then you can enter as financial analyst. So 9 out of 10 here. Then work life balance, again one of the best ones. 9 out of 10 I would rate it. Typical 9-10 hours of work. It's not like the most stressful kind of work, but obviously you're not getting that kind of salary as in investment banking, so that's why in terms of work life as well, it's much better. And if I have to talk about switching skills, that is exit options that you can get, it would also be around 8 out of 10. But remember, here there's a subtle difference, because a lot of companies, almost all the companies, want financial analysts. They want people who can work on financial models and stuff. However, it's not that your salary will exponentially increase from one firm to the other. That's why you have a lot of companies willing to hire you. You learn a lot of cross functional skills, so you will have a lot of options in terms of companies open and in terms of different roles open for you as well. So that's why it is 8 out of 10. But don't expect that you switch from one company to the other and suddenly your salary will get doubled or something. Earning potential is less, but yes, there are a lot of companies looking for financial analysts at an entry level as well. Next role is that of equity research analyst. Here you will be analyzing industries and companies, making those buy or sell recommendations for a particular stock. And here you basically examine the microeconomic factors affecting an industry, what will the future outlook of an industry and of a company, and those reports that you see published by banks, whether to buy a stock, whether to sell a stock, those are prepared by these equity research analysts. Decent job, decent earning as well. 7 out of 10 I would rate it in terms of earning potential. Starting salary from IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta kind of college used to be around 35 lakhs, and after that, ease of entry, again a bit difficult to enter if you're looking for a very high-tech kind of firms like the top banks and everything. But there are many other companies as well, like Motilal Oswal is there. A lot of tier 2 tier 3 MBA colleges grads also go to these equity research roles, and the salary there is kind of a difference obviously, but you can enter even without very hardcore finance knowledge. You need more economics knowledge here, so I would rate it as 7 out of 10 in terms of ease of entry. Work life, again, not one of the worst but not one of the best as well. 7 out of 10. Reason being, it will be around 11 hours, 10 to 12 hours work, typically what I've seen my friends working in this particular role. Yes, there is some pressure at certain points in time, but not usually. Okay, so 10 to 12 hours if you're working in this role, it's kind of there. Not the best obviously in terms of work-life balance. Most of the finance roles are not, but relatively it's definitely better than investment banking, private equity and so on. So 7 out of 10 there. And in terms of exit options, I would rate it around say 5 out of 10, because again, not a lot of places that you can move into because your skill is something very specific about analyzing an industry. It's more kind of a research as oriented as well, so a very individual contributor kind of role at times. So that's why you're not developing a lot of cross functional skills. But 5 out of 10 you can switch across different equity research firms, so that is definitely possible. But in terms of cross functional skills where you can shift to different roles, probably you will have lesser options. So 5 out of 10 in terms of exit options. So these are some of the roles I wanted to cover. I haven't covered all the roles. There are many other roles to be covered, so maybe a part 2 if possible I'll make on this. But if you want to specifically know about some of these roles, what do you do in such role in minute details, then for investment banking, say you want to know, I have created a video on investment banking as well, that what are the different kinds of work you would be doing as an investment banker, whether you will like it, what kind of skills you will need. You can see that video on the screen, and if you are interested, I will see you there.